Well, hello, good evening and welcome. Delkim Live then on a Thursday. Good evening to you all and thanks for joining us. We do this every couple of weeks. If this is the first time that you've joined in with me, Lee Remang, I am the Commercial Director of Delkim, and we talk all things Delkim for about 30 minutes or so. You get your chance to ask your questions and look for any help and advice. You can do that, pop it in the chat, wherever your chat is on your screen, and I will be going through those and picking up the questions as we go. And if you're on YouTube, you can do the same. So we're both on YouTube and Facebook. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, I am going to talk about this little fella, the TxiD. Okay, so been out now for nearly 5 years. So June 2019 we launched this product, and you know, it did meet with a little bit of resistance. People were a little bit shocked, people were a little bit scared. It was different, it looked different, it was smaller, it had different controls, but there is no denying that it is better. Whether you think or not, this thing does a lot more. Doesn't have to do it, but it does do more. It's a better product, it's better made, and it is proving to be the most reliable bite alarm we've ever made, and also, you know, does help you catch more fish. And we'll go through that and let you know about beep speed, which is really the killer and the game changer from the old system to what we have now. And I will also go through and explain really how simple this is to use. And you get people go, oh, there's loads of features, it's too complicated. Okay, yes, it has features, but you don't have to use them. You can just turn it on and fish. And a bit like, say, my car's too fast, or my stereo's too loud, or, you know, it's not something you have to use to actually use the product. So that's what I want to try and get across to you guys who may be considering, who may have the TXI Plus and think, oh no, it looks a little bit different. And, you know, I don't like change. People don't like change. And to be fair, we make a rod for our own back by not changing our alarms very often. Bearing in mind the TXI Plus was out for 15 years. So it's a bit like a nice comfy pair of slippers, or, you know, something that's bedded in nicely. You're used to it, you love it, and then suddenly something new comes along and it's like, oh, those are a bit uncomfortable. But once you get used to it, you won't go back. And that's what we're trying to explain to you tonight. So why is it simple to use? And this was something somebody, or somebody raised something on a Facebook page. Oh, I know loads of people that have got the TxiDs who say they're too complicated. I know loads of people that have got the TxiDs and none of them have moved them off the default settings. Good. That's what we set them for. That's why it's so simple to use. We've set the default settings so it is just ready to go. It can feel just like your TxiD, your TXI Plus, if that's what you came from, or if you're new to Delkim, you can just turn it on and fish. You don't have to change any of the settings. You can just fish. That's the whole point. If you want to personalize it, if you want to start fiddling with it, you can. But ultimately, there are about 3 extra features on this alarm. There's about another 2 extra features on the receiver. So it's not exactly loads and loads of features. So we've just changed how you access a couple of things, and we've actually made things simpler in other respects. So what I'm going to do is move across to my next setup. So here we are, and I've got the old and the new. Okay, and we will look at how this compares a bit later. But what we're going to do to start with is just show you how simple and easy it is to use. Okay, so I've just got my TxiD, I've got it out the box, I've put my battery in, which is a case of, again, a better quality design If you can see there, look, it's got 2 screws. You undo those 2 screws, the back comes off, you connect your battery, and it's a sealed battery door. So that's not going to move. So if you've, obviously in the old one, it was a little bit wishy-washy. Battery door would slide up a little bit, and you had the snag earbacks that could be screwed on. But bearing in mind, this was designed in 2003. So this is old. So I've put my battery in, and it would actually turn on when you connect the battery in this respect, but I've got it turned off for the moment. And all you do is you've got 2 buttons on the front. Okay, we no longer have a switch, which we have on this model. So there's no high and low sensitivity. It is all on the one control. So instead of sensitivity, we now call it response. And the reason we call it response is because technically it is response. Okay, technically it's the response to the line movement that this control guides. You know, this control covers. The beep speed is how many beeps you get for a certain movement, which I will come back to. But basically, if you thought this was S, this is doing virtually the same thing, but we now call it R, response, because it's how much it responds. So turning this up is just like turning up your S control. And the beauty is no need to flip a switch. No switch that can get broken. So all I actually need to do is I turn on my alarm with the 2 buttons on the front. I adjust my volume. I increase my response, that's maximum. I adjust it to how I'm fishing. I turn my volume up. And I can go fishing. How simpler can that be? Okay, it comes with a fixed tone. Or it comes with a default tone, I should say. I can adjust the tone, and I will tell you how to do that. But tone is only ever something you adjust once. Yes, you've got a rotary control here that gives you can adjust the tone. But how often do you change the tone? This is a point of failure. This allows water ingress. So we've took the control off. We've made it simpler with a push. We put a push button in there so that it's more reliable. So no switch to fail. No control here to fail, because tone is only something you really change once. So now I can just turn it on and I can fish. Can't get much simpler than that. It's set to a medium brightness out the box with night marking set. That's your default setting. Bear in mind, this button here used to change the settings, and I can show you if I turn this one on. So when you first turn it on, it had medium brightness. We can hold it down for medium brightness with night marking. If you doing this, if I hold it down for 2 beeps, you get full brightness. 3 beeps, you get full brightness with night marking. And if I hold it down for 4 beeps, okay, I get the lowest brightness. If I turn the alarm off and back on again, it doesn't remember what it does. So you have to go through all that process again. Now we have a system that has what's called a day-night setting. So out of the box, it is set into night mode. So this is the default medium brightness with night marking. So that's your default. Okay, there are 8 levels of LED brightness that you can change if you want to. Just pressing this button changes it into day mode. And now I've got full brightness, and it will remember your settings. So if you want to use it like that all the time, you just leave it, turn it off, and when I turn it back on again, it's remembered. Whereas this one didn't remember. So you had to go through your settings again to get where you want to. If I want to put it into night mode, night marking, which I probably would have on most of the time, because I press that button again and it toggles. That's it. Again, I'm fishing. I can just adjust my response, increase it. It's set just like a TXI out the box, so I can fish and it's exactly the same. That is simplicity really there. So I don't have to fiddle about trying to reach a switch and flick it this way, that way. 2 buttons on the front, turns it off. Now, you're saying, but I don't like that tone. Okay, I want to change the tone. And this would be something that you would do at home, because you're setting it up at home. Or you can do it on the bank, obviously. But it's something you would do when you get them out of the box. You set your tones as you would do on here. And once they're set, they're set. So if I want to set the tone, and I have explained this before, you turn the alarm on, hold the button down and wait for 2 beeps. So that goes into your adjust mode for tone. I can hold the button down, go up the scale, hold the button down, go down the scale. Choose whatever tone I want. So instead of going like this, on this, instead of going up and down with the tone, I'm just holding the button down and I go up and down the scale. So I want it on that nice, high, ear-splitting tone. So I can go up there, there's 64 tones. There it is. If I press and release, it repeats the tone. Okay, I'll leave it there, and then that time's out. You're out of your little setup mode, and there we go. I've set the tone I want. I can do that to all my alarms, and then nice and loud, I'm fishing. That's it. So that's pretty simple. I haven't had to do anything else to go fishing. I haven't had to change anything else. I don't need to change anything else. What do I want to do? What is it that people might want to do? We've set the defaults for you so that you can just go and fish. So straight away, I'll come back to you to have a look, see how that's gone down. Straight away, that is just simple. Simple, 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 simple. So, you can't get much simpler than that, hopefully. So hopefully that's everybody can see that. So let's have a look. So I'm struggling to get the RxD receiver to vibration 3. So yes, thank you, very simple. Yes, it is simple. You just use it and go. So that's how simple it is. So hopefully you guys can see that, yes, it's different. Yes, it has extra settings, and I will go through those settings and show you that it does do a couple of other things, but not masses, and that it's really out the box. We had a long, hard think when we made the product that it was made to feel like a TXI Plus, because obviously 15 years of TXI Plus was important, and that's what we came up with. We knew how it worked. We knew where we wanted to start point, and that's your start point, and away you go. So a bit like, say your TV, you tune it in, all the contrasts and all the everything set and the sound is all set to a certain setting. If you want to start playing with the color balance and the sound quality and the picture for cinema, well, we can do that. But if you just want to turn it on and watch EastEnders, turn it on and go fishing, you can do that without playing with anything else. So you can't make things much simpler. Yes, it hasn't got a tone control that you can rotate, but you can adjust the tone. You do it once, away you go. What easier way can you see than that? Now, let me now explain a couple of other little things. Beep speed. So, beep speed is really what sets this apart from this by a long way. So, we all know, and if you're a Delkim user and have been for a long time, we all know how sensitive a Delkim is. Okay, I've got that in maximum. I haven't even got that in plus. If I put that in plus, I've had a little knock, and it's virtually going into wobble, and it's hardly moved. So I've jumped out my bivvy, I've been fishing by a snag, I've cranked up the sensitivity, I've jumped out my swim because I think I'm in, and basically it was a little liner. Now, you know, for 15 years, that was brilliant because no other bike alarm could do that for you. No wheel can pick that up. No wheel gives you anywhere near the information of a Delkim. But this was the design process of this was, okay, that's great, but it makes it a bit unusable at times because it just goes too crazy too soon and you can't tell whether you've had a knock or a run. So we thought, right, how can we improve on this? And this is where, let's turn that down a little bit in volume. This is where beep speed came in. Now out the box, this is set to beep speed level 4. Okay, so this is where now, if you want to start personalising it or fine-tuning it, you can. And this is where it has some advantages. Again, you don't need to. You can still fish, use it like your TxiD Plus, never change the beep speed. But if you want to try and get a little bit more out of it, you can. So out the box, it's set to beep speed level 4, which is about equivalent of where this is set. So you can see that it's not far off difference. So if I've got a little knock, it's gone crazy. This one's gone crazy. I'm going to turn this down so I don't keep tapping it. So beep speed level 4, there are 8 beep speeds. So 4 is what this is set at. Now, if I adjust the beep speed and lower it, so put it into a lower beep speed. So 8 is the fastest beep speed, 1 is the slowest. And all you do is you just hold the button down on the front. Okay, did you hear that? It gave a little beep. That's beep speed level 1. I'll do that again. If you just hold it down. Okay, you heard it goes 1. When you hold the button down, it always starts at the beginning and goes up the scale. So it'll start at 1 and go up to 8. I've now not touched this control, so it's still extremely sensitive, picking up every responsive, but it's not doing this anymore. And I've turned that, you know, I've still got this at maximum. If I turn this up to maximum, turn this up to maximum, suddenly I've got a bit of speed relationship. Now I get a knock. I'm only getting 1 or 2 beeps. Now if I get a run, I get more. Now if I increase that beep speed, I'm just adjusting that volume so I don't blow your ears. If I adjust this beep speed, so again, hold it down. Okay, I've set it to level 2. And you can see now, it's getting a bit faster. So I'm just about hitting the warble with this amazing setup I've got up here that's going to catch bugger all, but you can see some really curly line as well from our demo set. But you can see that I still haven't touched this. It's still very, very responsive. This hasn't moved, but I've increased the beeps. And now it's just going into the warble. So now you know it's go time because the warble is really when you want to be striking. You don't want it to be getting into the warble there because that isn't time to strike. You want it to be getting into the warble when it's up here somewhere, when it's going. So now we have a speed relationship. Now we can tell the difference between that knock and that run. And if I go to level 3, now you can see it's still getting a few extra beats, but now it goes into the warble a bit quicker. So basically you're kind of bringing in the warble quicker as you go up the scale. If I put it in the extreme and put it in level 8 for you, okay, that was level 8. If it hits the top of the scale, it will just repeat, so you don't go any further. So now this is level 8. So again, not touch this bit. I'm getting loads of beeps. Absolutely loads of beeps. So beep speed is not sensitivity. It doesn't increase or decrease the sensitivity stroke response of the alarm. It does not change it. That's the only thing that changes it. But what beep speed does is speed up, and I'll put it back to 2, or slow down the beats. So, and it memorises that. So once you've found your magic number, if you choose to play with beep speed, you now turn your alarm off, back on again, it remembers where it was. So as we know, most of the time we all fish very similar. We're fishing the same size lake, same rigs, you know, we don't necessarily change where we fish or how we fish very often. So once we've found our magic number, which I would have probably, it's about 2 for me here, don't have to change it. If I turn the response down, because it's got a bit windy, it's still going into that warble when I get a good take. But again, I might want it in 3. That's for you to find out and you to find how that sets up with your setup. And of course, if I turn the response down, so if it's windy, I'm fishing on a big pit, lots of wind, big waves coming in. So I've turned down the response, so I'm not getting a lot. You can see I'm not getting a lot there, but it's still going off. What I can do is I can whack the beep speed up. So if I put that on 8, let's put my bait runner on or undo my clutch there. So now, I can actually, when I do get a belter off the bait runner, I can get it to hit the warble, where it's still very insensitive. So you've got the best of both worlds, and that is what makes this so much more usable than that. It absolutely maxes out your chances of being able to use the best of the vibration system. So let me go back onto my screen. So you can get more out of the vibration system, know more about what's going on at the business end, because you can keep that response up higher generally without it going into meltdown. And that is why beep speed is the absolute, what makes it so better. And those that have been using it, those that have tweaked it, they know they get more out of it. You know, Delkim's catch you more fish. That's not sales speak, that's the truth, because nothing picks up that tap of the line like any other bite alarm. So if you're fishing in the snag conditions, in the edge, somewhere, you get a little tap, bang, you've been alerted, you're sat by your rods, you get a run. You're on top of your rods. If you're sat back in your bivvy with your roller buzzer and suddenly it just goes, you've then got to get up, get to it, the fish has taken line on you before you've even got there and has got more chance of getting in the snag. Or people have hit single bleeps with that kind of confidence, where the fish has picked it up, been spinning out and getting single bleeps. Generally in cold, flat, calm conditions, that's the kind of thing it can do. That's just vibration alone. If you know this, if you're a Delkim user. If you're watching this, I would assume you're already a Delkim lover. But that is what it can do. So, and the fact it's got a digital radio system, but so no pops and crackles. There are other features. You can adjust the LED brightness, but again, that is the big difference. That is the big difference. So, I will now make my way through the questions, because I'm sure there'll probably be people with a few things to say, and let me get me bits so I can show people. Let's start off. So, Miles Holman. I'm struggling to set the RXD receiver to 3 vibrations. Good vibrations. Okay, so if I turn the receiver on, I'm trying to flick between things. So if I turn the receiver on, okay, that's on. Okay, if I hold down the middle button, that turns off vibration. If I hold it, sorry, I've turned it, I had it off already because it buzzed. So if you can hear that on my, might be able to hear it on my thing. So if I then press it again, the lights went that way, that's turned it off. If I turn it back on again and hold it down, 1, 2, 3. That was 3 buzzes. Okay, so that's how you would set it. So you turn the vibro off by pressing the middle button. Okay, you then hold it down, turn it back on, and hold it down and cycle through the buzzes. 1, 2 buzzes, 3 buzzes. The technical name is TORS, Tours of a vibro motor. There you go. Hopefully, Miles, that helps you. The RXD seems a lot more substantial and less likely to break. Yes, they are. The moulding's far more robust, better material, you know, better quality, or have better range of the vibration system. The better range on the radio system. Is there a reason it defaults to night setting? You said that it would be used most of the time. The reason that we default it to night setting, it only defaults to night setting because that's where we set it. If you want to set it to day and turn the alarm off and back on again, it will come on in day. The reason that it's defaulted to night setting is for safety. So if you guys get them out of the box, turn them on, and they're on full brightness. Oh. So if they turn them on, they're on full brightness straight in your eyes, then you could get blinded. There we go. So you don't want that. So we default it out the box to be the medium brightness. That's just a bit of health and safety. But yeah, you don't want to be staring in them directly. That would not be good for your eyes. Thank you. That was it. Thank you for going to memory. That was the next question. Okay, so thank you. What we got on YouTube? Any YouTubers? Oh, we're busy on YouTube tonight. Hello from Sweden. Hello, everybody on there. Good evening to you. Regards to Bluetooth for Delkim, working with an app. Is this deaf fisherman? Yes. Bluetooth, deaf people. While I appreciate it's not necessarily something that can be done easily. You know, and again, it making specials and one-offs is very difficult for us. You know, obviously we're a reasonably mass market product. We are a bite alarm specialist, but obviously the vibro does give deaf anglers a chance. Having a Bluetooth app that acts as or connects to headphones, I'm not sure that's something we're going to be able to do. But who knows in this big world? At the moment, as tech is all over the place and everything's very, very expensive. The world's turning to rat shit, as we know. But if things change and things become better again, then there could be options in the future. So we never say never. Yeah, something, headphones, a plug-in. These are damn loud, but you don't necessarily want to wake up the late. That's what the vibro is. But yeah, it's something that we would consider in the future. My TxiD Plus have never skipped a beat, and they're in there anyway to date them. What's this? Haribo 87. Well, all our items. Let me just grab a drink. Have a serial number. So from about 2006 onwards, so we'd always be able to date them if they ever came back. There's no reason for her to skip a beat, and I will discuss about repairs and stuff as well before I go, because it's getting towards that time of year that everybody's coming out to play. My first set, to Martin Russell, my first set of Delkims were optonic conversions. Been using them ever since. Thank you very much. Yes, we have a long history. We only make bite alarms, so if we didn't make good ones, we wouldn't be here. That's, you know, it sounds a bit, again, another little sales speak, but that's all we do. We don't have any other products to fall back on. So when anybody else says Delkims are rubbish, always have been, always will be, or people just don't like it, well, okay, can't please everybody, and I appreciate that, but we don't make bite alarms because you just wouldn't have a business. So we can't survive, and we're still here, going very, very strong indeed. That's why you lot are watching. Love my TxiDs, wouldn't go back to the wheel alarms. Thank you, Dave Fairfall on YouTube. Excellent stuff. Yes, you can get blinded by the LEDs. It's only at night, Edres. So yeah, you get that stare, you can go out there. So, you know, day-night setting. You can adjust the LED brightness, and I will probably just show you that before we go and say that's the only the frontline control where you can actually change LED brightness. Ali, could you go through the anti-theft system on the TxiD now, please? Oh, Chris Watson, that is a fancy one. Have I got time? Bluetooth going to Apple Vibrate. Apple Watches take new. Yes, well, new direction. You know, we are Delkim. They're little cheap alarms that come from China, and they do little things. But, you know, it's difficult to do all these things and connect them to our proprietary systems that we create with our vibration system. So, you know, yeah, boatload from China is a completely different kettle of fish. These are all off-the-shelf things that just work with their pre-made bite alarms that they've already got from China. Ours are made in the UK. We made them ourselves. They're designed by us. So, all these little things. Yep, something that we will see how technology develops and what we can bring to the whole area. Let's have a look. That's Mark Joyce. Sorry, just answering that question. Love my new TxiDs. Only improvement would be to have red, yellow and green in order on the receiver. The reason we don't have them on that order is an historical reason, is that red and yellow look very similar when next to each other. That was right back from when we started making them. We split them up and moved them apart. So we used to have the green in between. We used to move them around so that they didn't blend, the colours didn't merge. So you could distinctly see the red and the yellow and the green. We kept them apart for a specific reason. So it wasn't a case of just, oh, well, why haven't they done traffic lights? We've always had them slightly in a different order so that you could see the difference between the red and the yellow. We kept the green in the middle so that it kept them apart. I will show two things then before I go on the alarm setting. As somebody's asking me, so it's your questions, so I will answer what you want me to answer. Let's go through, and I will go through the two other little niceties on the alarms. So I'm not going to mess about with the receiver. We could probably go through the receiver at another point in time. But somebody's asked me, so I'm going to give you the answer. So let me turn this one off, because that's going to beep away. Okay, two things you can do. Okay, frontline control on this one. So this one does beep speed. This also has a mute function. So if I turn my receiver, also has a mute function. So this is, turn that up, beeping away. So if you weren't using the receiver, or you do have your volumes up during setup, quick press of that, and that's mute. Okay, it will time out after about 5 minutes. It blinks the LED to tell you that it's in the mute setting, so give you a bit of a warning, and hopefully that will tell me that now when that times out, the LEDs on the latch, if you keep staring hard enough, and that should now blink every so often to tell me how it goes, blinking this LED here to tell me I'm in mute. If I just press the button again, I come out of mute. If I hold the button down on this side, I can change the brightness of the LED. So at the moment, I am in night mode. So there you go. This is day mode. A lot brighter. Night mode. If I did want to change it from the default setting, if I did, you just hold down the button and it will scale through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 levels. So if I set it to level 1, so now this is in night time, I've got level 1 set. So I've got night marking and level 1. That will remember that. So if I turn the alarm off and back on again, it remembers my setting. So now daytime is maximum brightness, nighttime is I've got it minimum brightness. You can do the same for the daytime brightness. So if that's too bright for you in daytime, if I hold the button down, I can go through the scale. So I might want to put it into 6 or 7. And again, it remembers it, so if you turn it off and back on again. Okay. One thing that was being asked was for the security, 2 levels of security. If you can see can you see the receiver? Just about there, if I pull the receiver up. So we've got 2 levels of security. If I turn that down, we've got the same old system that was if I turn the alarm off, it sets off the anti-theft on the alarm. Okay, we all know and love that. That's not a problem, and pressing a button on the receiver just cancels that. But what we do have is something called IMU, which is a movement detection system. So if I set the alarm, I turn the alarm on, I then let go and hold that button, that now sets the IMU. I'm not expecting you to remember this instantly because that is an extra additional setting. Okay, so now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Security. Not everybody needs it, but it's there. So what we have now is an additional layer of security. This now has a movement detection system. So if somebody comes along, and let's say you are going to go and see your mate. So you've reeled in, you're going to see your mate. You can set them, the IMU, on all your alarms. Okay? Or if you're going to sleep for the night, you can set them on the thing because it still works as an alarm, obviously. It's still on, it's still functioning. And if somebody comes along and tries to take your alarms, they can't turn it down. So if I did this, look, they turned it down, they did this, they cut your line, they did all that, they got it off, and now if somebody tried to take it, if you shake it, it takes about a minute to settle, actually. There you go, it set that off. So shaking it has took it off. So I hadn't quite waited long enough. So time you've set everything up, obviously if you've got 3, you've got 3 more chances. So if I give that a shake, it's going off. So you've got an extra level of security there for somebody if they take it. So that's called the IMU. So nobody else has got that. It's a shame in this world that we have to have these things, but that is the way of life. So hopefully that has given you some insight into how really people make life more complicated than it needs to be. It's more a case of things are different than things are more complicated. Yes, it has more features, but you don't have to use them. You can just turn it on and fish. And that is the absolute golden rule. Yes, my TV has loads of features with a Bible like this, but do I do anything? No, I turn it on. And I have, I just watch Match of the Day or EastEnders. My remote has all these buttons on. I don't just go like that and run my hand all over the buttons and, oh no, it's not working. No, I press the buttons I want, or I have a look at what the instructions are if I'm going to start pressing buttons. But that's just got 2 buttons. Left one does beep speed, right one does your LEDs. That's it. Response, volume. What more? How simple can you get? People just find it complicated because it's different. So, that's the main thing. What I will talk about before I go, and I will, if anybody's answering any questions that I have missed, I will go through the chat and get back to these people and see how we get on, and I will answer anybody who's got any questions. Let me just see, that was one there. Germany. I love the set TxiD receiver, which I use for 2 years now. They do what they're supposed to do in a perfect way. Thank you, Alexander. Can't say much better than that. But you guys are all coming out to play now, fishing-wise. It's getting warmer. It's been a very warm February so far. You're going to think about getting your tackle out. One thing, we still fully support the Plus range of alarms. If anybody tells you otherwise, they've got it wrong. We still repair all our Plus range alarms. So from our alarms from 2003 onwards, we still will repair those items. Okay, the average cost of a repair is about £25 to £30. Okay, depending on what's wrong with that. It's the average cost. That includes postage. You get it to us, and we'll get it back to you. Average time, 10 working days. So, 2 weeks effectively, but 10 working days, depending on our workload. But then we always finish within the 10 working day maximum. But please, guys, have a look at your kit. If you're going to go out fishing, I've always said this before, and it's been sitting in your garage for 3 or 4 months or whatever, give it a little test before you go out on the bank. That just makes common sense. Don't just turn up on the bank and then, oh no, something's gone wrong. 99 out of 100 times it won't be a problem, but I'd be very disappointed if I turned up on the bank and something had gone wrong. Always good to check before you go. Then you don't get cross that you've turned up and ruined your fishing trip. Probably not going to be a problem, obviously, because we get less than 1% back of what we make, which is fantastic. Secondary, we do not service these little fellas and these little fellas and the other ones over here. these little fellas and these little fellas do not require servicing. They do not require servicing. Okay, there's no moving parts. There's nothing to go wrong. Okay, if they're working for you, you are doing everything 100% right. Okay, you look after them, they will look after you. There's nothing to wear out. So unless there is a specific fault, you don't need them looking at. No, get them. Oh, I just thought I'd have them looked at. Are they working? Are they loud? Are they sensitive? Are they causing you any problems in rain or shine? You know, is something happening that's not right? Okay, have you got, you know, if it's a specific fault, not a problem. We will sort it for you, no worries. And if you download our app, you must download our app. I always say that. If you haven't got it, please get it. Where is it? Is it on? Yes. So download our app. So it's got all our instructions, quick guides, videos, warranty if you want to do warranty, if that comes up. There we go, warranty's on there. Returns, you can go on there and book in a return if you've got to. Spares, if you need any spare bits. So you've lost a bit of plastic or lost, you know, clip, metal bit, need some bolts, whatever. You can get on there and order it on there. So you can get yourself prepped for the start of the season, even though, you know, there's no real season anymore, but start of fair weather fishermen. I'm not being rude, but more people come out to play as the weather gets better. Why wouldn't you? So check your stuff. Is it loud? It's sensitive. If it's not, then we can fix it for you. But you don't need to send everything back just for a service because it don't do it. And we do always fix the items and we fix plus range. Okay. I think that's about it for me tonight. I've blabbered on far too much. I hope it's been of some use to you guys. I thank you for your time, and I hope that if you do have any, excuse me, I told you that's me chicken nuggets coming up. If you need any help and advice, get in touch on the socials. They're all up there: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. So just get in touch. You can message us anytime. We are here for you. The Delkim family is here for you all the time. Pick up the phone. We'll help you. You need anything, don't hesitate. Okay? Just come direct to us. Get it from the horse's mouth. We will help you with anything. If you know, there's nothing too small that we can't help you with. All right? Stay safe, people. Enjoy your fishing if you're going out this weekend. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Take care. Good night to you all.